So as of today, Travis Hunter is a minus 280 according to the sports books to go number 2 on draft day to the Cleveland Browns. Deion Sanders actually had a meeting with the Browns owner, and his big takeaway after the meeting was that he thinks the Browns are either going to take Travis Hunter or Shedeur Sanders. I'm curious, Browns fans, talk to me. Do you think this is the correct move to go with Travis Hunter? Now, during his pro day, he only ran wide receiver drills. He did not take one back pedal. So that's kind of an indication on where he's going to play the majority of his snaps for his NFL career. And that makes a lot of sense, man. The wide receivers in the NFL, unfortunately, still make a lot more money than cornerbacks. I feel like the cornerback market is slowly catching up with the recent contracts we've seen with J.C. Horn, Stingley, Surtain, but there's still a pretty big margin there. And money talks, man. I'm not surprised at all. So the Browns would be taking a wide receiver, number 2 overall, if all indications are correct. Honestly, if I was the Browns GM, I would just go with Abdul Carter. Defenses win championships. We've seen that with the Eagles this past year. If we needed just a healthy reminder, to have Abdul Carter and Myles Garrett just seems like a no-brainer for me for at least the next 5 years. To have 2 potentially elite pass rushers would just be huge for any franchise, quite honestly. And I know Abdul Carter hasn't played a snap in the NFL yet, but based on all scouting reports, the tape we've seen, etc., I feel like it's a pretty safe bet that at the very least he's going to be a productive player in the NFL. I think he's going to kind of be at that Micah Parsons sort of level, but we'll have to see. So yeah, man, you let me know if you agree with me. Would you take Abdul Carter over Travis Hunter? Let me know in the comments below. Now, with Travis Hunter being slated to go number 2 to the Browns, the next big question is, what will the New York Giants do? Now, such great news if you're a Giants fan, because they need a lot of help, especially on defense. So, if Abdul Carter is there at number 3 overall, they gotta take him. I don't care. They gotta take him, and I hope they do, because I think he's going to be a great player, and that Giants defense needs a lot of help. And that's a cornerstone player right there, man. That's a player that you could really build your franchise around. So great news if you're a Giants fan. Now the next kind of domino to fall is Shedeur Sanders. Supposedly early on in the draft season, he was linked to Cleveland. He was also heavily linked to the Giants. At this point, with everything I've read from all the insiders, I'd be kind of surprised if he went at number 2 or number 3 on draft day. So I'm curious. You let me know if you think Shedeur is going to go into the top 10. I feel like there's a few spots for him to go in the top 10. The Raiders at 6 and the Saints at 9. I think the Raiders right now are a favorite to draft Ashton Jeanty. I think that's an interesting move. I don't know if that's the right move, just because the Raiders are in year 1 of a long rebuild. So to add a good running back, I just don't know how beneficial that's going to be to them. I prefer teams who are more in that competitive range to draft a running back in the first round. But if the Raiders want to do that, we'll see if it pays off. Now, I think he's honestly going to go to the Saints, Shedeur Sanders. I just think if he's there and the Saints are picking, I just think they're going to pull the trigger on him. Is that a good move? I'm not sure. I'm honestly not. I know the Saints quarterback room is doggy doo-doo right now. Derek Carr is still there. So I understand it from their perspective to a certain extent, but at the same time, I don't know if Shedeur Sanders is going to be the guy, and I don't know what Kellen Moore is like as a head coach, and I'm not a big believer in that franchise. I would really much prefer to see Shedeur Sanders land in LA. I've been talking about this for months. I just think it makes sense for both parties because I don't think Shedeur is going to look very good if he plays in year one. I really don't think so. And if he does end up in LA, it just makes a lot of sense. You know, you have Sean McVay. He could work with anybody. One of the best head coaches in the NFL. Plus, Matt Stafford is still going to be there for a year or two more. So to redshirt is going to be very beneficial for Shedeur Sanders. And I just think it'd be a match made in heaven. I would also think the Miami Dolphins would be an interesting landing spot. But I think with the Dolphins signing Zach Wilson, they'll probably go somewhere else. But who knows? Maybe he'll fall to them. Not sure. Anything is possible. But again, you let me know where you think Shedeur Sanders is going to end up. Quite fascinating, honestly. But yeah, man, right before the draft is kind of a dead zone in the NFL news land. Right now, I'd say a point in June, right before training camp starts, and a week before the season starts is probably the slowest news time for all the NFL world. So I'm curious, if you're watching this right now, are you into any other sports? Are you hyped for the NBA playoffs? Are you a hockey fan? Are you watching baseball? Let me know. Kind of curious to see if any of you are into other sports or do you just like the NFL. Let me know in the comments below. But yeah, man, I feel like the first 3 picks of the 2025 draft are pretty much locked in. You have Cam Ward going to the Tennessee Titans. You have Travis Hunter going to the Cleveland Browns, and you have Abdul Carter going to the New York Giants. But of those 3 picks, I definitely like the Abdul Carter pick the most. It just seems like the most surefire thing, in my opinion. I know Travis Hunter is going to be probably a great wide receiver in the NFL, probably a similar sort of range as Malik Neighbors, but right now the Browns just don't have a quarterback, so like it could be a rough-ish first season in the NFL for Travis Hunter. Like, who's gonna throw him the ball right now? Kenny Pickett, DTR. I know, there's some rumors about Kirk Cousins going to Cleveland, but like, even if he does end up in Cleveland, I just don't see him consistently making Travis Hunter happy. But I will give the Browns credit. It is a pretty good wide receiver room if they do draft Travis Hunter. You have him. You have Jerry Jeudy, who just went nuclear last year. You still have David Njoku as well. But they just need a quarterback, man. And Cam Ward, in my opinion, it's a shot in the dark. The Titans head coach, Callahan, still pretty unproven. We still don't know what he's like. We didn't really get a fair assessment in the 2024 season. So I just like surefire things when you're drafting in the top 5, top 10, and I think whoever gets Abdul Carter, which it's looking like it's going to be the Giants, just makes the most sense to me. So let me know what you think about Travis Hunter going to the Browns and everything else in between. If you made this far, please subscribe and like the vid. How about your boy a ton? That's all I got for right now. Peace.
For Phil Simms.